Alright guys, we're back to play some more Stanley Parable. I guess I just noticed. Look at that. It's a screen within a screen within a screen within a screen. It's beautiful. Alright. Let's begin the game. For more and 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 more scenarios of Stanley Parable. Because I heard there are a lot. Don't know exact number. Should have looked that up. Probably going to. Just gonna roll with it. Yeah. Yeah. Whenever this loads. Yeah. Loading. There we go.
This is the story.
Alright. Back where we left off again.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Really?
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright. Let's go to the meeting room, I guess.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
How to solve a dispute with a coworker. Let it ball up inside you. Take it out. Passive. Oh my god, this is wrong. Alright.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
This time I'm going downstairs.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
What?
The doors close automatically behind him wherever he went. And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons.
I wonder how many
I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Whoa!
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control.
I'm
that
scared.
This was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream.
Okay.
I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
A stack of pornos under my
My
mattress.
life is normal.
Can't live without him.
I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Okay.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Okay.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Wow. Wow, diddly wow.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Yeah, I
What
heard
could
you
it
the third
mean?
time.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
To the meeting room. I went down that
When
way.
Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ooh, jukes in it. And wah, 360. Alright.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer
Let a ball
there.
beside you, take it out passive-aggressively on other coworkers, resent coworkers for not supporting you or me. Let a oh my god. It's the solution to all things. Alright, we're going upstairs.
Coming
this
to a
time.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Fancy. What's over here?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Okay then. And a loading screen. You gotta love them loading screens.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Let's do this one this time.
Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Okay then, I'm all aboard.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Screw you.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Where am I?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to
Oh,
his
God!
demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss. Like cutting the eyeballs
come
from
on.
a blind man.
Platform right over
So
there.
he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
What?
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous
What?
metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body,
Bounce
killing
over here.
him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you
What?
can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Credits. Did I really just beat the game? Did I really just beat the game like what it's supposed to? No, I don't believe that. There's no way this is the end. What? Here we go, the exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to
Alright!
beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Hello? Anybody there? Hello? Knock knock. Hello? I'm guessing I'll give it another minute, I guess. Don't know what's going on. That's it. Beginning of the game again, I guess. Wait, why are there a whole bunch of... I don't remember there being lots of papers in the ground.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
That I'm just noticing that, but I don't remember there being a lot of papers on the ground.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either.
Been here, done that.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
Nope.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Whoever made this game, yeah, this is beautiful.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Yeah. Going down. Wow. I'm kidding. Loading screens.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
All right.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
I don't know,
Stanley
maybe they're
thought
watching
to
us.
himself.
I don't know.
Did he have the strength to find out?
Well, I have before, so I guess we just go through. And I clicked the button.
Now the monitors jumped.
Woohoo, HBO!
Their true nature
You
revealed.
get some ESPN on here too?
Each bore the number
Nope.
of an employee
Nope.
in the building.
Channels.
Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And
nope.
Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Yeah, damn it.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true.
No,
Had
it couldn't.
Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
Oh, yeah.
Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
I guess so.
No. He
No.
refused to believe it.
Okay.
He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Maybe.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content.
Which one
Walking,
are you?
eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command.
Woohoo.
Freedom was mere moments away. And
Look,
yet,
birdies.
even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on
bird.
how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but
Freedom.
happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go.
Look at that beautiful
what
mountain.
to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know.
That's
It
all I
was
needed to
perhaps the only thing worth knowing.
So beautiful.
Stanley stepped through the open door.
The open door.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of
I lost
liberation,
sound control.
the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to
Lost
happen.
all control.
And Stanley was happy.
Don't tell me it's resetting now. Wow. Well, I guess I'm cutting it here because that was a good lengthy couple scenarios. Please like and subscribe in the video, and thanks for watching. Bye.